If they don't like it here, they can go back where they came from. Black Progressive Woman 2025. That's a rather inflammatory statement there, madame. Rather white nationalist of you, in fact. So this is something that has popped up in response to President Donald Trump allowing refugees to still come to America and stay in America from South America, specifically Afrikaner farmers who have for years been targeted and murdered in, frankly, bestial ways for years and years now, and apparently the left, normally so fond of immigrants, really don't like these ones. I wonder why. I wonder if there's some sort of racist explanation for this. But let's have a quick listen to this clip here, shall we?
And part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans, and so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the
So the native populace of a land have a natural right to that territory. They are allowed to live there before anybody else. Intriguing. Gluten soil, sister.
Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory. They have their checks and balances in that land just like we do, and that is for them to. So if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They're leaving to come here.
No, they can
These
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you
or
against them coming here?
Holland.
And there it is. If you don't like being actively discriminated against in your country, as the checks and balances in South Africa are not quite as robust or developed, shall we say, as in most of the other world, then, well, you can just go back to where you're originally from. Imagine that. What a fascinating point of view. Particularly coming, of course, from a black American woman. Okay, let's have a quick look at this, shall we? The first colonies of South Africans, the Afrikaner or the Dutch in this case, that popped up in South Africa appeared in about 1657. Okay, that's pretty damn early. Well, when did the first slaves arrive in America? The much quoted year is, of course, 1619, only like 40 years before. Now, it would have been a fair bit earlier in all due likelihood if the first slaves arrived, and many of the first slaves would have been Irish rather than black, but details. But of course, these were slaves, unlike the free men who began colonizing South Africa. If we need to look towards the point where people became free in that country to begin living there, well, we're looking at the middle of the American Civil War, the mid-1800s. I'm sorry, you're going to have to go back to where you came from. By your own standards, by your own logic. Now, obviously, logic has never applied to the left in any way whatsoever. They've never even attempted to establish something that could even resemble a standard, a coherent set of principles. They don't give a shit. This is because there are white immigrants. They don't like the white immigrants because they're probably not going to be voting the correct way. Particularly not after having seen what equality did to their own country. A country that, by the way, they themselves built out of absolutely diddly-dick nothing. Their closest neighbors were, in essence, the Zulus, and from that, they built... Oh, look at that! Isn't that a strange surprise? What's the most profitable country in all of Africa? South Africa. despite having a smaller population base and a, of course, much shorter history than Egypt, which is the second place. My, I wonder how this could have happened. I wonder indeed. Mayhaps we have some ways of discovering some reasons for this, but from non-white sources, of course. We don't want to be, we don't want those evil white nationalists to be muddying the waters here and messing with the narrative. No, let's instead go to the Chinese. Many of you may have seen this meme screenshot of "It's all so tiresome." So this comes from a movie, a documentary called The Empire of Dust. It is available for free on YouTube, and I highly recommend it. It is a slow watch, to put it mildly, but it is an excellent documentary to understand why Africa is the way Africa is, where there is a bunch of Chinese contractors that have moved into Africa as a part of China's broader efforts to attempt to, well, colonize Africa, basically, but details, we're not going to get into that here. In this case, they have built a camp where they are going to construct the infrastructure required to maintain this road. And this road was built by the Dutch or the Portuguese, something like that, like 100+ years ago. There is infrastructure in Africa that is well over a century old, and none of it is maintained. This entire road is in a state of complete disrepair, to the point where it's practically no better than the bush lying right next to it. And the Chinese arrive, and they're like, this massive infrastructure project, you just let it rot? And looks are like, yeah. Okay, well, fine, we'll repair it for you, we'll maintain it. So we're gonna build a cement plant and we're gonna get all of this stuff going, and then you'll take over, right? Okay, we need gravel to begin building like this plant. We need gravel for the plant, we need gravel for the roads. We just need gravel, just crushed up rock, okay? Anybody local who produces that? And they go, yes. And then the entirety of Empire of Dust is the quest for gravel. The quest for goddamn gravel. Hacked up little stones, and this is one point where, after searching for days to get somebody who's capable of delivering gravel to them, the dude is just like, I give up. Because the locals don't want to. They seem to almost take pride in sabotaging the Chinese workers. They talk about how the blacks steal like mad, how they have to check all of the equipment, how, to begin with, when they filled gasoline on the trucks, they simply measured it out in liters. Okay, well, we've filled this vehicle with X amount of gasoline or diesel, therefore it'll run for so and so many days, so and so many hours. Simple, right? No, the truck ran dry of diesel very, very soon. Well, that's weird. Could it have evaporated? Well, some, but not all of it, surely. What happened to the rest? The driver stole it. The driver stole the gasoline. So they needed to start marking out in centimeters. So they send out a driver, and he has so many centimeters of fuel, and when he arrives, he's expected to have so many centimeters left, and when he gets back, they measure it every time so that they can't steal it. And getting them to work, they have to hire supervisors that basically stand by the workers and just walk around yelling at them. It's like, no, you work now, you work, you paid to work. It is absurd. And this is the part of Africa that somehow the Afrikaners and South Africans turn into the single most wealthy nation on the continent. A continent that is overflowing with riches and natural resources. So, yeah, if somebody is going to have to go back to their country, I'm just going to leave that one hanging there because we we here in the West have not learned the lessons of South Africa. We have not learned the lessons of equality, with sexual assault, torture, and victims strung up on poles for everyone to see. And this having gone on for years now, an open secret that literally everybody knows about, but nobody cares about, because it's happening to white people. The only ones anybody care less about are Christians in the Middle East. So yeah, of course, this will not convince any of the progressives' mind. This is not a principled position for them. This is not something they believe in any way, stretch, or form. This is simply another cudgel that they reach for. Hypocrisy is their foremost weapon. Being able to hold two conflicting positions at the exact same time, that is the base requirement for getting your Progressivism Club membership card. But it is worth pointing out and ridiculing nevertheless.